Hey everybody, welcome back to the Deeply Graphic Design Cast. I'm Nick Longo, and this is going to be a fun one because I wanted to do a grocery haul / what catches my eye at the grocery store when it comes to packaging, products, food, beverage. It's such a fun space to work in, but also I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way when you're walking through department stores, grocery stores, Target, whatever it might be. Design really does catch your eye, and there's certain things that really do resonate when you're walking down the aisle. And so part of me wanted to try something a little bit different. I went shopping at two different places. I went to Whole Foods and I went to our local Target. And I just walked the food and beverage aisles to see what actually caught my eye. Really almost trying to scan it with kind of a little bit of a blur vision and see if something does catch you and you focus in on it. And that was the first thing I bought. So we have a ton of amazing products to look at. And what I want to do is just analyze them and see what worked. What was the winning formula when it comes to that? What design aesthetics, what design principles really help them stand out a little bit. So first one up. Okay. This is called Shift. And this is a really cool coffee iced brew. And, this is like the gear shift on the front. But as I looked around and saw this, I was like, wait a minute. Check out that illustration on the back. This is just sick. I mean, it just has this, and then this side too with the cold brew there. I just absolutely love the contrast of that versus this. You almost get like two fronts that you can use. And you're kind of at the mercy of whatever the department store, retail store, grocery store is going to do when they're displaying it, particularly grocery stores where they're just putting these on shelves. And if you give them almost like two different things here to use, you get like two fronts. And I kind of like that idea of and then you can almost alternate. You can have one this way and one with that alternative on the back. But just a beautiful design. I love the aged eggshell, off-white, and then this perfect coral red and almost turquoise baby blue. Look at that illustration. I'll try to give you a little closer look. Oh, there we go. Probably not focusing too well, but I'm going to keep it maybe here just so you can see it. I just love this. So this is again called Shift Caffeine, and this is a nitro cold brew. I have tried this one before, and I was happy to see that this one caught my eye when I was walking down the aisle, because I have gotten this strictly on design alone. I'm sure we're all guilty of that. I'm a sucker for good design, and if I see something cool, I'm going to buy it. So I was pleasantly surprised that this one caught my eye again, just because it just has that beautiful aesthetic. It has old racing kind of stripes, the typography choices, everything about it, just killer. So that is number one. All right, number two, this one. This is Crazy Sweet Corn Chips. There we go. You can see that there. Now, this was an interesting one. It caught my eye, I think, strictly because of this black border. And if I hold it there, maybe you can see it a little bit better. There we go. And I think this framing of it, particularly for these bags, there are so many different products in this aisle when you go to snacks, cookies, crackers, you name it. And this one, I think it was just the framing of it that really caught my eye. And then this bright yellow. The other SKUs that they had also had some bright colors to use. Here's the back, you can see, just quite simple there on the back. But this front, I think it was that frame that really caught my eye. And it made me think I've never really explored this kind of a design option when it comes to designing these pouch bags. And so just something to consider by giving yourself this bold frame. It just stood out so much more over everything else. Even better designed bags right next to it. I mean, this is quite simple. I can say too, there's maybe not enough contrast between the food icons and this background. And some of these examples that I'm going to show you later do have kind of that same issue. But this was really, really nicely done with that frame. And I think that's what stood out to me. I did open these because I was just curious to try them, and they were delicious. They're kind of like a thin rice cracker, but made from corn. So really, really good. All right, staying in the snack aisle, and I've shared this one. I shared this with my students. This one here, Chetty's. I mean, just look at that perfect aesthetic. The contrast between this really cool, orangey coral red and this deep blue, you have enough contrast between everything. The white here, this perfect word mark, really catching your eye. I love the floating food, the burst, this color based at the bottom. This is so cool. Like right next to it are 2 or 3 other SKUs, and they just have different color variations and different color combinations with equal, I'd say, complementary color, but also equal contrast between the white and all these other ones. Nothing got in the way of the food. Nothing got in the way of call outs. They did such a great job with this. Here's the back. You can see it's just nice and simple. The sides have some additional call outs as well. I like when brands do this and they put all of the information on one panel on the side. This has got your nutritional panel, your ingredients, some socials, contact, maybe the company name, and a URL. But this base going around the bottom is such an identifier. I think it sets the foundation, and when there's multiple SKUs next to it, it really does work to look like a family of products in one. But I wish this was coming off a little bit more of that. Ooh, there it is. There's the color. It looks great. Look at that. Yeah, this one just popped off. It has the slightest bit of like fluorescent to it. I think there's something I'm seeing a lot of, and a few of these will have it. There's one surprise one that I had no idea was even out, and I'm going to save that one to end. But it has that same kind of fluorescent orange. It's very obvious in the Scrub Daddy packaging, which I think you guys will agree has that really cool custom. It must be a 5th color, but it's really sick. All right. Tapachi, I believe it is the one. But this one I've been seeing a lot of, and this is a new one for them. It's got a lot of cool graphics on it on the front. Love that vibe. And it has this very unique, almost tattoo graffiti-ish style there when it comes to what's being shown on the front. I think it was just the idea that this white frame, everything else was so colorized in that space where it was up against. It was near every other competitor, the Ollipops, Poppy, and some of those other ones. But I think there was something about this one that it was just white, touches and things of color here, but very aesthetically pleasing. And I love that nothing kind of curled around the sides of this can, and that really just helped to frame it. And it stood out and was calling for attention a little bit here. I can't wait to try this one later. This is spiced pineapple. Oh my God, that sounds so good. So again, really fun typography, good use of everything else there. There's a good shot of it. So love that one. Really stood out nicely. Okay, I'm gonna try to swap them up a little bit because there's a lot of food, a lot of packaging, a lot of drinks and stuff. But this one, again, I'm so glad it stood out to me. Maybe it's because of familiarity, but I buy this all the time. But this is Brahmi, and it is a lupini bean and wheat pasta. I think there's so much to dive into on this one. Here's a great shot of it there. So huge identifier here for the brand with that huge yellow shield. And showing the pasta, nothing's crowded, right? They found spots for everything, but nothing's competing against each other because there's really good hierarchy of where to go. And I love this little blue call out here as well. The way it has like a little identifier here. It's telling you it's 21 grams of protein, 9 grams of fiber. Again, a good alternative for just regular pasta to get. But I thought this had a good balance between modern, clean aesthetic that you see everywhere, but also like a traditional Italian. It almost looks like it could be imported because of font choices, design cues, and everything. And then they did a really nice thing on the back where they had a little story, a little bit of like a black and white photo there from Italy. Of course, you got to drop that in there to make it look authentic. Really nice, but look at that. This is really cool too, because I'm noticing a lot of times if shelf space is a little bit tight, and they want to get more things on shelves, they will show the side spine like this, or one of the sides. And that's a great identifier for the brand. The yellow makes sense because I think like Bonza and other companies, they own like their own individual color. Bonza has orange, I believe. So here, this one giving it this yellow, it really does stand out. I don't think there was anybody else close to it in color when I looked at the rest of the stuff around it from the shelves. So a really nice, authentic looking thing, still has good hierarchy, nothing's competing against each other, and a huge identifier for that brand right on the top. Okay, next one, another favorite of mine, and this cereal aisle thing is getting kind of crazy. There are so many of these cereal brands that retail for $8 and more, and you know, there's not a lot in here. Look at that. This was $7.99, I believe. Interesting like, because when you want something more healthy or with less crappy ingredients, it's usually expensive, and that kind of is counterintuitive. But I got to give it up for these guys. The 7 Sundays, these bags are fantastic. I think, to me, what I love about these is they're the perfect blend of to cater to both adult and to kids. It's just as fun, just as colorful as like the big brands and stuff. Look at the back here too. Perfect little area for a story. Look how much 1/3 of the back is designated to graphics and storytelling, which I really love. And there's actually more on the back of like detail and things like that than on the front. The front's more about the product itself. Got the little morning rooster there and a great picture of the actual product as well. So I confession, I broke into these as well because I wanted to try them. And it's delicious. This is a nut granola. I believe they have cereals, they have granolas, and they have oatmeals. All 3 different versions within their brand. Love the fact that they do something really unique, and I don't know if you can see it here, but this whole section here is the ingredient list. They're so proud of their ingredients that they actually show them that big and that prominent on the back before anything, before the story, before the about us. This is a huge trend I'm seeing, and I talk to a lot of my clients when they're in that zone of we have limited ingredients, we're using good ingredients, there's no junk in it. They will even put it on the front nowadays. There's a few brands that are doing that. I think RX Bar was the first one to do that and say like, we're so clean, here's all of our ingredients right on the front. But again, this just great colors. I love this warm brown, and then you got this like kind of like magenta, this morning sun there as well. And their 7 Sundays thing is quite iconic now. I think just seeing that like bowl with the spoon really, really works nicely. So kudos to them. All right, another favorite brand of mine, and this is the only, I think, only seasonal thing on our list. This is Siete, and I'm sure you guys have seen these guys before. But this is a hot chocolate with chocolate chips, grain-free cookie. I should say Mexican hot chocolate. And it is a limited edition for the holidays. Now, look at that foil. Woo! My God, that is so sick. Love that. This one, in a sea of like the red and green and gold, which kind of this is, but their red is like a purple magenta red, right? This thing stood out so much against all the other things. This was at Whole Foods, and it was among a ton of other seasonal products that were all trying to get your attention for the holidays. And I just love that this thing had such a perfect balance. You've got the cookies, you've got some fun graphics and some like jewel tone vibes here. There's some prisms going on with the design as well. And then the back is just nice and simple. I love that. And this is just like a great contrast. Let's do all the selling on the front and then do all the verification and everything on the back. So really nicely done. Look at that gold. It's so neat to see brands. Their everyday stuff is a little bit more flat and matte, which I think is on purpose. In a sea of like everything being gloss, when it comes to the regular stuff, their stuff stands out nicely as well. And then here they are using foils and metallics on their seasonal stuff. Outstanding. I cannot wait to dig into those. Okay, this was the first one I bought as I entered the store. And I'm always looking down like the protein bar aisle, looking for something that might be good for a snack or whatever. And this one just caught my eye because it was very different. This is called Rise. Look at that. Okay, nice and simple. You got that off-white eggshell kind of color again, not white. I'm a big fan of that when it comes to packaging. I think that just feels a little bit more classy. White could look a little sterile. It could look a little like medical in a lot of ways when you do just stark white. But this one had a good vibe. There it is. And a really nice kind of just accent. You know exactly what it is. It has these almonds right on the front. I'm a big fan of understanding what the SKU is or the flavor or the scent or whatever it might be at first glance. Don't make me have to go look for it. So they have this perfect little badge right there that says almond honey. And I just thought that was really, really cool. Rise is big, bold. It catches your eye. And then again on the back, plain and simple, all of the necessary stuff that go on there. So I like this that it has basically 3 ingredients and nothing artificial. And they say that right at the bottom of Rise. So there's their statement. Again, I thought it's not like it's the groundbreaking design, but what's so cool about it is in a sea again of very busy, kind of over-the-top packaging on such a small little real estate, like a bar like this, they had some clarity And I'd be curious to know how they do in the future, but it's neat to see that they are actually doing it. They are the official protein bar of the U.S. speed skating team. Congratulations, Rise. So again, Rise bar, sick, love it. Staying on the bar route here. Okay, now this one I've tried before. I don't know if I'd buy it again. I just thought it was, taste-wise, I wasn't exactly ecstatic about it, but this is Misfits. Again, look at the clarity in this packaging here. Huge word mark, customized font. It's setting the tone. I would say for Misfits, it's a perfect, like, optimistic, positive, but also a little bit with Misfits, you get the counter vibe of that, and that's very kind of rebellious and outlaw. So this is really one of those ones with a good contrast. Love, again, we're seeing that, like, not red, but like salmonish kind of borderline purple kind of red in there as well, with this kind of faded yellow as a really good contrast. We have just enough of an ID here of what kind of bar it is with the flavor. Really clean, good contrast through everything. Back, nothing exciting to write home about. For those of you who have done these wrapper bars, they're really tough because you have this huge gusset flap there, right? There it is, you can see it. So this little flap, when you fold it down, you get the nutritional panel or whatever's hidden behind it. But when you flip it up, you have to turn it this way and you have like your UPC code or anything else. It's more important to have the UPC code on there for retail reasons when they're checking it out, so it's nice and easy. But it's a little bit like wonky in the back there. I've seen some brands really take design to a whole other level when it comes to this, and they do something really creative, which is cool. They might have an arrow or two to flip it. But again, Misfits, I just thought it really kind of fit, and it good kind of design hierarchy to stand out amongst probably the most competitive one out there. All right, let's change the pace here. I'm not a tea drinker. I guess I'm going to be now because I bought this, but this is, I'm assuming it's Rizhi tea. You might have seen this somewhere. I think I start to see this like everywhere now. It started at Whole Foods. I'm seeing it everywhere else. That, again, the tea market, like coffee, like the protein bars, all of them, the most competitive like space in a marketplace. But this one here just had such a nice, simplistic, clean, minimal, but enough vibe and enough personality with these simple little illustrations, simple branding, and then even around it, you can see it's just nice and simple, maybe a little copy heavy, a lot copy heavy. I'm not reading any of this, but your front facing thing, that is your number one thing to make sure you're catching someone's eye. And I just thought amongst everything else, there was a lot of green, there was a lot of foil, there was a lot of busy, there's a lot of heavy, like older vibe illustrations on a lot of the other tea brands. This one, I mean, just sticking to this minimalist, clean vibe really stood out. And again, loved it. I wanted to make sure I got a flavor I was going to like. This is tangerine hibiscus. I do like hibiscus. That's one of my favorite teas. So I'm going to give this a shot, but clean, just stood out beyond everything else out there that I thought was really unique. All right. I believe this is Alira. I'm terrible at pronouncing this, but check this one out. This was the biggest surprise. I've never heard of this brand. I've never seen it on any design blogs or anything, but I love Alira. Let's just go with Alira. Look at that. Look at those cool little illustrations. It's got like almost a Viking vibe. That word mark, that font, oh, just beautiful. Love that. Check it out again. That off-white eggshell, no white on this one. Great identifier. I know exactly what this is. Dark chocolate, nice and bold right there as far as what the flavor or the variety is. Fun little illustrations. Some more clean callouts there at the bottom. Really nicely done. Continues on the back. Beautiful storytelling. Look at that. Dig this orange bar at the bottom. It's really bold. Good contrast between everything. Again, dropping everything on one of the side panels that you have to do. The nutritional panel, the illustration, the ingredients on here. QR code, UPC, really nicely done. So again, yeah, look, I'm dying to open these up. These look delicious. All right, next up, which one should we go? All right, Lesser Evil. These guys have been killing it lately. And they're getting into these, like, I wouldn't say seasonal, but they're almost like limited editions or something. Crunchy Cheesemos, Cowboy Cheddar, Lesser Evil. Here, check that out. In the health space, I believe they're avocado only oil. They don't use seed oils. This caught my eye. Quite busy, and yet still pretty defined and well laid out with good hierarchy. You can see there's a ton of fun little illustrations. You got to look closely for a lot of like the background ones. Then there's these ones that are like in the foreground. So one thing I noticed was there's a high sense of depth in this thing. There's a foreground, a background, and like a mid space as well. So really well laid out, nothing kind of intruding on anything else. Everything has its own place. You can see here too, they put a spark varnish on their little characters at the bottom. And I thought that was a fantastic little opportunity to catch someone's eye, particularly with that little flare of the lighting. So really nicely done there. I can't wait to crack these open as well. Very simple on the back. You mostly see this because you've got that gusset here as well. You really can't have any information tying over from one half to the other. So they really do make sure they get everything there. You flip this over. You probably don't even need to. They're going to keep it flat. You got everything here as far as information, ingredients, and all that kind of stuff. So nicely done there. Lesser Evil. Check them out next time you're in the store, because what I want you to really recognize is you might see 3 or 4 of them next to each other, and you're going to see wildly different color combinations and palettes, and yet it all works. I really think their key thing here is the fact that they have this word mark in a big black badge, and that sets the tone as you see everything else next to it. So really nicely done. All right, we got a few cans, we got some coffee, and I'm gonna end it with my favorite one here. This one, Ritual Black Coffee. Again, wow, just like that other one we saw. Let me get the angle there as well. What a beautiful, fun little illustration. And what I love about it is it's a kind of caricature on a bike, but it's almost like it shows the whole environment that person would be biking through. So I love the way they continuously through, even through the shrink wrap screen here where there's a bit of a seam, and then it goes here, and then the illustration continues, and you have that really nice illustration on the front. I love the little flag there as well. Notice the black coffee on the bottom. Again, we're seeing these identifier bars a lot in some of these examples. This is great. I think when you see the other ones next to it, again, you can kind of easily identify what you're looking for. I always go for black coffee ones. I don't want any sugar. I don't want any milk in any of my stuff. As a vegetarian, I don't want any, or vegan, I don't want anything in there. And I've mistakenly bought something that says like black coffee, but then there's milk or something in there. I like that it tells me right from the very beginning what this is. And it just has great storytelling. Look at that. So nice. I'm trying to get the glare off of it. There it is. Super nice. I almost want to like dive deep into the storytelling on this. There's some really unique kind of stuff happening in the back here. Some real fun illustrations. It's almost getting to be a little bit of a collage. They're really finding great ways to tell a lot of fun stories there without overcrowding it and still keeping a good hierarchy as well. So when you match all of that storytelling and all the content that needs to be there, and you're also that appealing on shelf, win, 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 right? Okay. Drastic change. Hi-Yo, the most minimalistic, simple can I saw, and again, caught my eye. Look at that. I'm sure you guys have maybe seen this out and about. There we go. Look at that. Just a gradient with a reversed out word mark on the top. Real simple, clean. This, for me, is one of those brands that, like, you see it in almost like cosmetics and home, like beauty products, things that you'd put in your kitchen or your bathroom. They don't want to be decorative. They want to fit in as almost like, you know, I guess accessories, right? Like this is something I love. It feels like if I was drinking this somewhere, it's so confident. It's so simple. It's not a billboard. It's not a walking ad for your brand like the way a lot of these are. And these drink companies are getting so unique too, particularly the ones that are like, I'd say alcoholic alternatives. This, I don't think, is claiming to be like a non-alcoholic drink, but it's definitely telling someone like, hey, you can still have this This would look great at parties, gatherings, or whatever. But there's something very, very iconic about just seeing a little gradient with a tiny little word mark at the top. As you turn it around, you can see the normal nutritional panel, ingredients and stuff. There is just about a little bit of a story here on the back. Feel the float. So I guess it is saying it is a non-alcoholic. Let's see. Social tonic. What a great way to identify it. USD, organic, love that. It's gluten-free, GMO-free, it's vegan. Happy in your own is their tagline. That's really cool. There's a lot of good coffee here. It's from Venice, California. Feels very Venice, California-ish. But another interesting thing, eggshell, off-white, not white. It really does blend nicely with the rest of it. Okay, 3 more to go. I've never bought, I think it's Emma Chamberlain. I don't know her first name, but Chamberlain coffee. So this one stood out a little bit too because, again, real simple, nice and clean. But one little downfall. I thought when you have white on yellow or white on a very pale yellow, doesn't read too well. I mean, you guys can see there it is there. You can see how it looks. All right. So I just thought this was cool because it was pumpkin spice flavored blend. I haven't bought a flavored coffee in forever. I just buy regular beans. So I was kind of curious. And again, I was looking for fun stuff to buy for this. And I tried it this morning. I cracked it open. It's okay. It's like, I like buying coffee more from like local places, so it's nice and fresh. This is ground. This has probably been sitting on a shelf for quite a while. It's seasonal, so it is kind of Halloween fall inspired. But again, I thought everything that this brand has done in its look and feel on shelves, its website. I remember seeing them at Expo West, which is the National Food and Beverage Conference that's here in Southern California. Their booth and everything about their design is very Chobani. You know, my favorite line is it's very Chobani-ish. And it really is. They fall in that nostalgic, clean aesthetic. I love that they got the side gussets in a really nice dark complementary contrasting color here as well. There's a little bit of story behind it. The back is very simple, telling you with some brewing instructions on the bottom. Again, so there were some other ones that I thought were cool, but I didn't want to buy anything that I wasn't going to drink or eat, and I didn't like the latte or matcha flavors that she had. The matcha one looked really, really cool. It had a much better contrast here, but now I got some good coffee. I'll probably bring that into class and share it with the kids. All right, 2 more. This might be my favorite brand and favorite packaging altogether. Gosh, this font, just killer. Heyday. Canning Company. You guys have probably seen this before. This is starting to show up everywhere now. And it's actually now in Target, I believe. It used to be only in the Whole Foods or Sprouts route. This is, if there's one thing you're going to try just for the food, you have to try this. This is grilled cheese tomato soup. And I want to read this to you. It says, the classic combo now together in one can. So that's fantastic. Let's be honest. There's nothing better than a grilled cheese sandwich with a bowl of tomato soup. They've captured the essence of the grilled cheese, the sharp cheddar, the buttery sourdough, and put it all into the soup. And for that alone, buy it. But there's something so cool about this vintage, almost nostalgic brand. It feels like I love just Canning Co., right? Canning Company makes it sound so much more boutique and homemade and, small batch and everything. And I'm sure it's not, but it fooled me. Great little fun illustrations on the side. Good big badge here. I know exactly what it is. Look how much real estate they're giving to just the title of the SKU itself and the way they split up with these 2 bars. When these are next to each other again, you're creating a little store within a store. They've done an amazing job with that as well. And I gotta call it out one more time. Off-white eggshell. It's not white. That's so cool. So again, nicely done. Cool little story on the back. And I just think anything like this, they're embracing the cant, which is awesome. They're staying kind of like old school with it. It's got the pool top like everybody else is doing on in that space right now. But again, oh my gosh, try this. It tastes so homemade. It's amazing. Okay, last one, and this was a total shocker. Had no idea it was out. I've seen these done before. And this color is so sick. Do you know what it is? Oh, I'm gonna cover that. So these limited edition boxes that come back. Everything's done so old school. Check this out. The old Wheaties box is back. Look at that. Talk about standing out. I was done. I bought all the stuff for this. And then last night was in a local Target and said, let me take a look and see if there's anything I'm missing. And there it was. This Wheaties box, old school, vintage style. I don't know if it's 100% ripped off from the past, but obviously they took maybe some liberty to make sure and designed it for this. But this has that really nice orange color. It's not showing up on camera too well, but it has a slight little fluorescent hint to it. Beautiful deep blue, very nostalgic. It feels real sports, old baseball style as well. The back, I think kind of real simple. It looks like they just did a quick little infographic here about helping people perform like champions since 1921. A little bit of old history there as well. Got the side panel. That's cool. Love that. I think this would be a fun project to take something that's recent and show it off if it existed in the 20s or the 30s. How would that packaging, how would that brand look? This is so nice. Again, a total surprise. Again, the off-white, not a stark white. I think that works perfect here because this is so vintage. And that's it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. These were so much fun to get and explore. I want to do this like shelf appeal series again and maybe do specifics. Go to the coffee aisle only and see what works. Or even go to a department store and what brands based on their displays, their in-store kind of advertising, their banners, anything that they do design-wise, how are they standing out against the other ones? And take some pictures and then go over those and see what's successful, what's working. If there is a space that you guys would love me to examine and highlight and show off here, send it to our DMs here, either on YouTube or on Spotify or on Instagram as well. I'd love to know what you think would work. Also, I have a contest. Who can guess how much I spent down to the penny without going over, whoever's closest, on all the stuff you just saw? I live in Los Angeles, keep that in mind. So whoever has the closest one, comment in the YouTube video or the Spotify video with the price you think I paid in total for all of the groceries you just saw. And I'm gonna send you 2 custom posters, one from a talk I did in Tulsa with the Art Directors Club there, and a second one with my buddy Cesar Arvello, who just spoke at Glyphic here in Los Angeles. I have 2 posters I'll send your way. Whoever comes closest without going over by the penny, and you guys will win. So I hope you enjoy this. Again, let me know if there's anything you want us to explore for future episodes, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thanks for watching the Deeply Graphic Design Cast. New episodes every week? Well, most weeks. Be sure to follow and subscribe so you never miss the latest. Now shut this off and go design some damn magic.